They make this distinction between politics and diplomacy. I don't really care what y'all think of me anymore, if you hadn't guessed. But I watched a show called Gallipoli last night. I'd watched the movie, it's based off a book. I'd watched the movie with Mel Gibson a long time ago, and I was like, man, I remember being really terrified of that as a kid. I was watching by myself, like when my parents were at work, and I was at my grandparents, and like my grandma had put it on, and it was like fucking terrifying. Like the most terrifying trench warfare you can possibly imagine. And this is just a movie and book, so you can imagine what in real life we can't imagine. But you can imagine how terrifying in real life this trench warfare must be. You know, to see the men's hands shaking as they put on bayonets, and to see, you know, really, really young men who've never killed before kill for the first time, or, you know, seeing how excited a man gets once they realize they're good at killing. You know, really terrifying human things like that are portrayed in these types of movies. And in this show, it's a series now, released I believe in 2014 or 2015, called Gallipoli. It's really well done. And I've never seen combat, but it was really well done. And I think the major point of it was that politics gets us in to these stupid, you know, just devastating conflicts and wars. And politics creates these disaster zones with battles that, you know, hubris and ego is caught up in this decision making of the leaders, and usually men from lower socioeconomic means are just kind of just thrown around like cannon fodder, you know. And you know, that's politics, is the wars leading up, why we go to these wars, conflicts, reasons why we get in these conflicts, and then also why we stay in the conflicts. That's politics too. And the interesting thing, and sorry it takes so long to get here, but the interesting thing in the first couple episodes, politics might have been the incompetence and the, as I said, hubris before, and the ego. Diplomacy is where these two sides, after fighting each other and hating each other and killing each other in terrible ways for days, that they stopped fighting long enough to exchange each other's dead so they can bury each other's dead across no man's land, the area between the two trenches where, you know, it's nobody's land. They're just kind of fighting for, you know, inches of mud and dirt, and, you know, there's bodies stacked everywhere, bodies stacked at the bottom of the trenches, so they're literally fighting on bodies of fallen soldiers. That's diplomacy, where these two sides, regardless of the politics of the greater forces at play, the boots on the ground guys, the people who really mattered the most, they were able to put all that bullshit aside. They probably maybe even, you know, disobeyed some orders to do this potentially, and they actually had enough time to have fun with one another and get to know one another. So they brought diplomacy, they brought respect for their fallen, and were able to, you know, take a break from all this hell and bury their own, and respectfully. And in the process, they realized they don't hate the other side. The Australians didn't hate the Turks, and the Turks didn't hate the Australians. And they started having kind of fun and respect for each other. And, you know, they still had to kill each other the next day, but they just didn't kill each other with such fury, you know, or abandoned respect for humankind. They respected each other. And I would say deaths went down, and just the way that they died wasn't as disrespectful, and it just kind of curtailed the seething hatred that they had, that was built by, you know, leaders on the opposing sides that weren't even present in the conflict. I'm just sick of old white dudes who have no physical capabilities lying through their teeth to the general population, and then us not kicking them the fuck out of the door. You know, like, the next time somebody blatantly lies on a debate stage for 1 straight hour, I say we tar and feather them. Like, the next time somebody says that they're pro-democracy and they're obviously not, based off the 120 fucking cases they've fucking lost over the past fucking 7 years, tell them to their face, no, you're not. You know? Next time somebody fucking lies to us in public, we need to call them out. People who are, you know, monitoring these debates, y'all need to fucking be quicker on it with fucking fact checking. You know, Fox News and CNN, just fuck you. Be on the side of Americans. Like, could you guys not give a fuck about goddamn ratings and $1 for a fucking goddamn second and think about fucking human fucking existence and parents, grandparents, kids, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, godchildren? Can you fucking think about goddamn anything besides a fucking goddamn $1 for a fucking second? I don't need that many dollars to fucking live. I could literally go fucking hunt for something and fucking make it edible by fucking evening. If I fucking had to, okay? I'd rather just grill the burgers that I have already prepared in the fridge. And I don't want to pay a fucking goddamn arm and a leg for that shit. And I don't want it to be filled with fucking poisons and toxins that our government fucking doesn't have any sort of way to regulate the toxins of through all the companies that are selling it to us. And I certainly don't want those companies to be multinational corporations who are trying to take over our fucking government. And I don't want to keep supporting those companies. But anyway, I figured I'd give you guys my 2 cents, because I just don't give a fuck what you think. I really don't. So this is what the fuck I think. If you have the balls to fucking tell me what the fuck you think, you go ahead and fucking make a goddamn video on your fucking page. You can fucking tag me. And then you have 12 other fucking accounts, and you're disingenuous as fuck, and you get paid $7 an hour to fucking shit all over our fucking goddamn 4th of July, then go ahead and just go fuck yourself today. How about you fucking go take a break? Sorry your life sucks. I really am.